Now here right now, I'm in Oslo, Norway, where we are recording a concert for Imran Khan's Cancer Appeal. And Imran, as you know, you've not spoken to him, but I have spoken to him. And he's always up to something, raising money in organizing cricket matches or dinners and so many other things. And he's always got a hectic schedule. So just before this concert here in Oslo tonight, I managed to get hold of him. And I am going to ask him the question which you, right now, are dying to ask him, that what is actually happening as far as his hospital is concerned. So Imran, what do you have to say on that?
Well, PJ, the hospital was scheduled to be open in December. We've already completed 85% of the construction. The problem is we wanted to buy equipment. We needed some help from the government, but because there have been 4 governments that have changed, we don't have any one particular government to deal with at the moment. As a result, we've delayed it so that after the elections, whichever government comes, we hope to get some assistance from them as far as the equipment goes, and also to offset the effects of a 10% devaluation. So right now the date is in March. We are all 100% now scheduled to open in March, because after that we'll start incurring running costs. So far the plans are going, and therefore there's hectic efforts to raise as much money as possible before March.
I see. And I believe you're encouraging a lot of overseas doctors to come up and work in the hospital.
No, wherever we can get the doctors from. I mean, if you have a vacancy, we advertise it. Wherever we can get doctors, preferably Pakistanis, and all of them are Pakistanis, and they come, they apply for it, and that's where we've got the doctors from. Most of them happen to be from America, Pakistani doctors working in America who've applied.
So there's no real particular format as far as where they come from?
No, we advertise in the magazines and the medical journals, and whoever, we interview people. Our medical board interviews people, and whoever is fit is taken in.
Now, what type of officials have you got as board of governors and trustees and, people who actually work in the organization?
Well, the trustees and the board of governors is more or less the same thing. The board of governors is half composed of, people who are not that professional, but the other half, which runs the board actually, are professionals like Babar Ali, who's our current finance minister, Razak Daud, who's a top industrialist, Dr. Pervez Hassan, one of the best lawyers in Pakistan. Our accounts are audited by Ferguson's, which is a reputable firm in Pakistan.
Now, in raising money for your hospital, you've organized a lot of cricket matches here in England and abroad as well. Now, for example, this last 2 games you organized at Crystal Palace and Bradford. Now, they're a wonderful way of bringing international players here in London and watching, people come along and watch. Now, what did you think of the crowd behavior in Crystal Palace particularly?
Well, it was regrettable. I mean, it's sad that certain members of the crowd, and I'm sad to say they were Pakistanis, who feel that they have to, in order that Pakistan should not have lost the match, they felt that it was better to stage a riot. Now, it all brings bad name to the country. It shows very poor sportsmanship. I mean, what were they trying to prove? That Pakistan cannot lose? I mean, in sport, one team has to win and lose. Both teams try to win. You should be, when you celebrate the Pakistan team winning, you should also have the guts. It takes courage to accept that the team is going to lose sometime. And I feel really sad for these people who have in trying to be patriotic, actually they do so much damage to the country. Because really, it has meant that I'm not going to stage matches in England again. I'll think 10 times before I would try and organize matches, because it's not worth it.
Now, you say so, and yet the Indians, they came all the way to support your cause.
Exactly. I mean, I felt really, sad about the whole incident. The Indians came, they paid, they played for more or less nothing. They were very sporting about it. They had just finished a series in Sri Lanka. They flew all over, and, especially all credit to Sunil Gavaskar, who organized the whole tour. And then suddenly, you find despite us repeatedly telling the people that let's make cancer win, fight against cancer win, rather than India or Pakistan, let's not worry about it, although the teams played the match competitively. And yet, despite all our warnings, this very foolish element who, in trying to sort of be overzealous, trying to be so patriotic, they damaged the image of Pakistan.
Especially like this boy we're going to be seeing on screen right now, taking the wicket away. I mean, I couldn't understand what was the reason for taking the wicket away.
All I can say is that it's the most moronic behavior. It defies logic. It defies civilized behavior. It was bad for the image of Pakistan. It was bad for especially these people, community growing up in another country. Is this how they are trying to show off themselves? I think that I hope that people watch this incident and learn from it, how not to behave.
Now, Bradford was a very good example, wasn't it, compared to Crystal Palace?
Yes, Bradford was a great example, but sadly, because of Crystal Palace, not many people turned up in Bradford thinking that there would be another riot.
Now, will you be organizing any more games such as these?
No, as I said before, I will certainly at the moment, I don't think so. I mean, if I feel that, that the crowds will behave properly, if I really felt like that, maybe I would think about it. But at the moment, I certainly have no plans.
But wouldn't you say that maybe if you had a test match ground, that would be much more better than perhaps grounds like Ordsall Stadium or Crystal Palace?
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't thought about it, and I feel that we put in so much effort. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of volunteers working. It took an effort, it took a lot of running around. And at the end, when something like that happened, and 2 years in running, one must, it's a question of once bitten, twice shy.
Now here in cold Oslo, right now, it's been an experience because this is the first time you've been here to raise funds. What's been the response from the Asian community?
Well, so far overwhelming. There's a young man, Tasadduq Chaudhary, who invited me here, who's organized the whole event this evening. He has done a lot of running around, and I know because for the past 3.5 years, all I've done is organize such events, and I know the effort it takes. And so I feel very happy that there are people like him around, who can mobilize our community and mobilize those people who want to contribute to help something, a cause which will help other human beings. As I said, I'm overwhelmed by the reception here, the effort of the people to help this hospital.
And generally, for organizing such events, you're approached by so many different people from all walks of life, don't you?
Yes, there are approaches, not that many. There are different types of approaches. And of course, we have to work out, who to sort of go along with. Because, of course, at times you end up going to an event which is a disaster for the people who organize it as well as for our charity.
Now, why is it that I've seen a lot of factions, they seem to emerge everywhere, wherever, events are taking place to raise funds, when in reality, the main cause is all the same?
Well, PJ, this happens because everyone wants to be a star. People want to, not do the functions for the right reasons. In other words, it's not because they want to help the charity. It's not because they believe in a cause, but it's because they want to become a star. They want to get on stage. They want to get acknowledgement. And I always find that it's the wrong reason. Sure, I mean, there are people who, everyone wants to be appreciated. But, when people, their desire to be appreciated far exceeds the desire to help the charity, then it has detrimental effects. And I always find that when too many of such people are around, the community is split. And, it in fact starts working against each other. I mean, I have been to, one of our functions flopped because a whole part of the committee could not bear the credit of that function going to some other person, so they boycotted it. So I just find these people sad cases because, what sort of people want to just organize charity just so that their names will appear in the newspapers or they can be seen on a video?
Now, I believe you've got a few dinners lined up in November.